And then gonna hop down and pick up more keys. Meanwhile, Matcap done with Hera. Gonna go to the Dark World Mountain, get his half magic and junk, and just be on his way.
If I had to venture a guess, I would think both runners, whenever they find whatever pod seemingly has to have at this point, is gonna feel like they're behind. Like, I could have come here right into Dark World.
Yeah. Could have come immediately after getting that hammer out of Zelda's
There it
cell,
is.
and it's... Yep, there it is. Although, what's that actually? I guess it's a fire source. So that gets us Landmolas, that gets us Ice Palace, gets us the back of Skull Woods, which is 2 items. Gets us a fair bit. That does not get us access to the Helmasaur King, and does not get us logic for that flute.
Right. Doesn't even put this the Dark Maze into logic either, so...
Nope. It does put the Dark Basement into logic, that rupee basement, but not the Dark Maze. So yeah, for chat trying to bring up Ted... Oh wait, where did Ninjimbro get a sword?
Just picked it up.
In the Dark Maze?
Just grabbed it.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
That had to be a big key, so then through this.
Yeah, chat bringing up the pedestal. We got the book in the sanctuary. We did see the check on that super early, and it's going to just be a green 20.
Now, with a sword to help guide them through, I would think Ninjimbo probably just go ahead and try to take out Helmasaur, even if it's out of logic.
Presumably, yeah. And I mean, Fire Rod, even better than a sword for navigating the Turtle Room. So Ninjimbro in good shape overall if he wants to do that. As long as the confidence is there.
Right, there are torches in that Turtle Room that, if you can get them lit with the Fire Rod, makes the scariness of that room diminish quite a lot. So, yeah, I've got to believe that Fire Rod was a pretty welcome sight.
Yep, and we do see Ninjimbro is going to the back. I think actually he's leaving... Yeah, he knows both of the 2 chests left in the front, the Stalfos basement and the Vanilla Big Key chest. He knows they're both small keys, because there have to be 4 small keys in the front of pod, and he counted... He knew he got 2 items, 2 small keys, and there's 2 chests left. So he is going to skip those items and just never go back to them.
Yeah, echoing something that was in the chat. Almost an hour in, no logical sword.
Yep. We did see one at like the, what, 6 or 7 minute mark? There is one on the Lake Hylia Island. But that's mirror locked, we can't get that. But yeah, the good news for chat, wondering, that Fire Rod, 100% in logic for these runners. There is no lamp lock whatsoever on it. And here's Helmasaur. Gonna just hit that mask with the hammer 17 times, and then hit the gem a few times. It varies depending on what item you use. And 8 arrows will do it. Actually, I think that was 7, and the sword spin also does it. Sword spin does the same damage.
Yeah, Helmasaur King being very generous and just sitting there to shoot fireballs and let him just pound away with the bow.
And just a compass and a crystal for the reward. But never have to come back to this place again. This entire region, just scratch it off, it no longer exists. Although actually I guess with that fire rod, our next logical progression could be the green pendant. But I kind of want... Okay, so we do see that map check there. There is red crystal at Desert Palace. And I don't think we've seen any information on whether swamp or ice is the last crystal. But Ninjembro going straight for ice. Oh yeah, and chat reminding me, yeah, that sword out of logic means moth not actually logical. Which, whoops. We could still get the green pendant, just not logic. And regardless, Ice Palace probably the better play regardless. There's 5 items with the map compass shuffle. Cane of Samaria so that Ninjembro can use the Icebreaker trick and make it a really smooth full clear here. And since nobody's wanting to talk to the bomb shop vendor today, it will also just be information on whether they need the mirror to clear swamp or not. If they don't, then Ether and Ice Rod's just go mode.
Yeah, that might be something to bring up in interviews if our runners want to step in, whether they even thought about checking with the bomb vendor.
Yeah, and just what the approach to information this seed was in general. But there we go, and Ninjembro just using that Samaria, extending the door state there, and walking right through that rail, wall, whatever it is. And then gets a useless, well I say useless, but we've got a Cold Stare fight ahead of us, so that Bombos Medallion not entirely useless. Can use it to crack Cold Stare shell and then use Fire Rod to kill the rest.
I don't know that there's anything more satisfying than that rail clip, making Ice Palace so much more palatable.
Yep, because with it, you just kind of do it all in a relatively smooth and straight line instead of all the backtracking and when do I go to Ice Tea, when do I go to the right side that the dungeon has, even with the bomb jump. At this point, I expect to see the cape on both runner sides before the end of the race, just because it blocks so much it's very likely to show up. But do we actually need it? Not with the fire rod in hand, I don't think. Unless like one of these runners just isn't as confident in the Mire Dark Room as you might expect.
Yeah, we were discussing the pod tunnel room being dark and how harrowing that can be. The dark basement of Mire is no joke either.
Nope. There are setups and strats for it though, so it's basically just are you comfortable with and how you practice them. If you have, then go for it all day every day. And if you haven't, the whole region is lane blocked anyway, so in this seed you've got a good excuse to shy away.
Ninjembro dropping into their Cold Stare fight, gonna use Bombos to crack that shell like you were saying earlier. Then, with half magic and a fire rod, just go ham.
Yep, because Fire Rod does Gold Sword tier damage to the Cold Stare Puffs, and you can see they are already dead. For just a red rupee though. So nothing in Ice Palace, but it is the crystal, Swamp is the pendant. So we are not looking at needing the mirror today. Of course, we could still stumble across it and like the Ice Rod be in there. We are still on an Ice Rod plus Ether hunt. For now, though, I think Njembro is going to the desert area. Going to kill Landmolas. Get one item off the Landmola, get the other 5-6 crystal. That opens up Pyramid Fairy. And then beyond that, he's still looking at the back of Skull Woods, has one item in Logic, and then whatever the boss drops plus the green pendant, that's not.
You were saying what we were talking about with possibly not needing the mirror. With a sword sitting on Lake Hylia Island and not seeing another one yet, that mirror would be something I'd want to see pretty soon. I mean, going into Swamp may not be the most fun because you can really get bogged down in the number of checks there, but that sword's going to be necessary if we don't find another one.
Yeah, at this point, it's quite likely that that's the intended second sword, and there's just like sword sitting in Turtle Rock, sword sitting in Ganon's Tower. The kind of swords that nobody actually wants to pull because they would rather have had them half an hour ago. Well, on Metcalf's side, we do see Helmasaur dead. So he's got to get to Ice Palace to even up the crystal count there if that's the route he wants to go. And I expect that it will be just off number of checks. But could go to Desert, could go to Skull Woods instead. We'll see. Taking the save and quit makes sense. You can't use the flute in the Dark World, no mirror. So wherever he's going to go, he's going to approach it from the light. Missing the bird feels a little bit bad though. And Njembro using the Fire Rod, just like against Cold Stare, Fire Rod does Gold Sword tier damage to the Landmolas. Only rewarded with a 3-pack of bombs to go with his second red crystal though. And yeah, right into Ice Palace for Matcap. We know that he's not going to get anything of real progression in here, but it is still a 5-6 crystal, which is looking very, very likely to be necessary at this point.
Ninja Bro taking a second just to reconfirm what crystals are where and what they may need before going to pick up this big bomb and taking it for a small walk.
Yep. And at this point, like, Ice Rod plus Ether is go mode aside from the sword, but we can't possibly have just both of those items in the Pyramid Fairy, I don't think. Unless, like, the mirror or the cape is in that bridge chest in the Skull Woods. Because if both of them are there and the Skull Woods chest isn't anything, then that would just be no more progression left to find, which is not possible. Oh, that's rough. So now, back to Skull Woods. Then the only chest in Logic in Skull Woods is the one under the bridge, so it's gotta be something. And I'm trying to... I don't think it can even be the cape at this point either, actually, because we've done all the out-of-logic checks with that. It's gotta be the mirror, I think. Yeah, it has to be the mirror. There's nothing else. I guess it could be a sword to open up the Mothula check itself. But geez.
Well, wouldn't the cape get you the lamp, which gets you to pod to get the sword to get to the back, or no? Am I missing something there?
Actually, yes, that's true. Cape
Okay.
is I forgot about the cape lock or the lamp lock sword. So yes, you're right there. My bad.
No, you're fine. I was just trying to work it out, and I'm like, did I screw it up? But you're right. I mean, it's got to be one of those two items. Because the sword being locked in the dark means you can't get to the back logically, so...
Yeah. I'm expecting it to be the mirror, though, at this point, over the cape, given all of the lamp lock checks we've already seen.
Nah, make it the cape. Put the mirror on green pendant. Let's go. Oh, and then Jimbro's not even going to check. Come on. We need to know.
Yeah, I mean, we know for sure that it is, but at the same time, there's no real reason not to do this, I don't think, while you're here, just to get it off the board.
Well, there's to save my curiosity. I need to know.
Yeah, the problem is, without a mirror, he'd have to take a Death Warp away from that chest, which is slow. With this, he can just take a save and quit.
But I need to know.
Well, you'll get to learn what's on Mothula first.
Okay.
Now watch Mothula drop the cape. That would be fun.
Yes, that's possible.
Yeah, it would require a sword to be either in or behind the other chest.
Right.
Meanwhile, Matcap Cold Stare down on his side, has learned the pain of there being nothing there. I assume he's going to go for the same red crystal route that Ninjembro's already shown us, but could surprise us. And there's Mothula down for green 20. That's disappointing.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, Moth not playing very nice in that fight, hovering up in that corner, but Ninjembro pushing through it, picking up their second pendant.
And going right back in for the bridge chest.
Right, Reg, what do you think? Cape or mirror?
I'm still thinking the mirror, but cape would make a little bit. Oh, well, big key.
Or...
That just defers it, though, to the big chest. But I still think it's going to be the mirror, just because the only new check the cape actually gets us is the green pendant. We've done everything else out of logic already.
Right. Yeah, mirror gets us a sword on the island, but it also opens up Swamp, which has a plethora of checks too, so... I'd agree. It most likely seems like this has to be the mirror. Matcap heading over to Desert, knockout Landmoan, grab their second red crystal.
And then going to be immensely disappointed by the absolutely nothing in the Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, the seed's been a lot of build-up and disappointment in the second half between the mountain and then now Pyramid and then Ice and then... You called it.
Yeah, and remember, since going to the Dark World like 40-ish minutes ago, we found the mitts fairly quickly in the Village of Outcast. Then it took forever for us to find the Fire Rod. That was our second piece of progression since going to the Dark World. And now that mirror is the third. And then Ninjembro actually going for the Overworld Graveyard Ledge check before... Actually, he should use the Whirlpool here to go right to the sword on the island, I think. I think that's what he's going to do. But regardless, going from Skullwood straight to this check is the fastest way to get this one and not leave it behind.
Right, it's one of those decisions of when else am I ever going to come up here. So, I mean, why not get a fetch quest?
Yeah, I'm shaking my head over here. Why? He is leaving that Dark World portal, though, which does make it a little bit inconvenient to take that Dark World Whirlpool to the Dark Lake, like I was thinking for... But he's immediately going to fake powder this mushroom, save him from having to go up the mountain to the floating island to get the real powder.
Yep, I like it's a heads-up call. I like this call. If you're going to do it, you might as well just do it now.
This is still... We know this is not going to be the case because the real powder is on the mountain behind the lamp. But it could be like an ice rod or an ether medallion that we're still hunting for.
Right. Oh, and his heads-up play is rewarded.
Very good presence of mind there to remember that was an option. That's going to save him a mountain trip. And then immediately going to actually go turn it in as well. Would be really funny if we got double rewarded for that mushroom. Is buying potions, but is skipping that piece apart, already on 12 hearts. Decides doesn't really want it. Frankly, likely to find a couple more in chests anyways to make up for it as the siege goes on.
Yep. Ninja Bro, gonna go grab that sword. Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say the same thing. That's my bad for almost cutting you off there, sorry.
You're right, I was dealing with some kid aggro. So yeah, I'm gonna grab that sword off the island, make navigating Swamp Palace exponentially easier.
I actually expect we're gonna see Out of Logic Mire before Swamp here. Because if we see the Ice Rod in Mire here, then we're just in go mode, no need to grab that cave plant out of Swamp. Although, actually there is... We're not finding the silver arrows to seed because it's hard item pool. And without at least a tempered sword, even with half magic in hand, lampless, silverless Ganon kinda sucks and is hard on the magic meter.
Right, that's a great call about Mire. I had already forgotten they had found Ether, so yeah, this is the right play. Would you consider just assuming that Ice Rod's on TR after this as well?
No. Not while I'm already in Mystery Mire. I might go Turtle Rock over Swamp, thinking that the Ice Rod's probably in there.
Right, that's what I meant.
Okay, yeah. In that case, yes. But
yeah,
while
that's
I'm
what I
in
meant.
Mire, I wouldn't be skipping any checks in here for sure.
No, I was saying if Mire was empty, would you just go ahead and gamble TR instead of just dipping Swamp?
I probably would, and I think a lot of runners probably would. It's a pretty common gamble. Compasses continue to be really, really useless. Netcap here, we'll see if... I assume that just because even if he goes for... Yeah, he's following logic going for the bridge chest first. I kind of expect him to go straight to Mothula after this, though. Just because otherwise it's kind of a pain to get back.
I apologize, I had to look away. Did we see a green pennant turn in or no?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect Matcap to skip out on Mothman then.
We saw Ninjembro go straight for the Hylia Island Sword after getting that Ether Medallion and turning in the Mushroom, and then to Mire directly from there.
It's a rough thing when you get a God Miner and can't use it because you're still looking for something.
Yeah, that always hurts a little bit, especially because you very rarely, anecdotally, it feels like you never get God Mire when you're in go mode, even though it does happen sometimes.
Right?
It's just one of those things. You always remember the bad and you never quite remember the good ones.
Madcap in there. Off the fight, using the fire rod to... There it is, good shot.
Yep, and didn't need to use potions, but gets 20 rupees, green pendant, and gonna be off to that mirror next. Now, real question, will Madcap take that mirror directly to Graveyard Ledge like Ninjembro did? As we know that that'll save a mountain trip if you fake powder it, because otherwise Madcap gonna have to go all the way up to Floating Island and then back down for the powder.
And Ninjembro taking on the Dark Mire basement hits that block toss to get the switch. One of those strats you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and then chat's also mentioning Ninjembro skipped the cutscene chest here in Mire. And because of the one quirk of key logic in Mire is that a small key can only be on the firelock side if the big key is also there. So we know that cutscene chest gonna be an item. Madcap took the save and quit. So Madcap gonna be on an ether hunt for a little bit here, going straight to Swamp Palace. Graveyard Ledge, kind of an isolated location for him at this point.
Yeah, Madcap's... You gotta hope that they're gonna pull an ice rod out of Swamp. And that Ninjembro heads up to TR.
Meanwhile, Ninjembro here just really, really lagging between the Cane of Burna and the sword spam here. It's not quite as effective as using the cape for this strat, I don't think, because of the lag especially, but it is working pretty well. He's also getting slashes in on the big eye, might save him an arrow. I'm not actually sure.
Yep, saved one arrow. Good fight. Just put on the Cane of Burna and just swing away, so that'll work.
Yep. And like I said, you do more often see that strat used with the cape, where it doesn't lag the game very badly. But Cane of Burna does it as well.
Yeah, blocking the cape, not much other choice outside of just pummeling it with arrows. Or, you know, Master Sword spins and strikes.
And Ninjembro leaving that compass chest, or not that compass chest, that cutscene chest in Mire behind. So that will remain a mystery for a while.
I think that goes back to what we were discussing with both runners putting Pod off until basically the very last location. I can't believe either runner feels like they're ahead.
Yeah, and cutscene chest is a very popular corner to cut if you feel like you need to, just because of how slow it is and how slow it feels. Now, how's Madcap going to approach left side swamp? Going to do it now with Diver down, or going to put it off till after doing the back?
If there's any inclination to full clear Swamp, you just do left side right away.
Yeah, I agree. Diver down and flooding the key does make it faster. Especially with this mode, meaning you know you're not going to get just map compass out of it. But some runners just don't like doing it, but yeah, here we are.
Matt kept deciding not to grab that sword off the island. I'm pretty sure they know about it.
I'm pretty sure as well, but at the same time, it's been like an hour and 15 since we saw it. So, who knows? I might be misremembering that they checked it, or maybe only Ninjembro did.
Speaking of misremembering, maybe you can remember our tracker, maybe even Chad does. I believe only Metcap checked the ped. Ninjembro never did. They may be doing Swamp, assuming this is a ped seed.
I do believe that one's correct. I haven't seen Ninjembro check ped. I know Madcap did it early and Ninjembro didn't, which is one of the things that let him get like even time-wise on the super early checks. And I don't think he's been back there since, and our tracker Mindful Beast is in chat confirming that as well.
Yeah, I was slightly surprised to see Ninjimbro go into Swamp rather than just gamble TR for the Ice Rod, so...
Well, the thing about the Ice Rod in Turtle Rock... Okay, well, A, there's the cape, so we're back in logic now.
Holy buried. That lamp is
Yeah.
at the bottom of the food chain when it comes to logic. Holy hat.
Remember, though, the flute's even behind that. But regardless, when we're talking about Ice Rod and Turtle Rock and whether you go for it, it's basically just a hunch. Do you have a hunch it's in there? Do you have a hunch it's not? Pick one and follow it.
Right, it's kind of just runner's prerogative. If it's not there and you've got to climb the mountain to go back through TR, you feel bad. You know, if it is there and you decide not to do it, you feel bad. It's a 50-50, you're right. To go back to what you said really early in the seed, though, that flute was probably last item. So it's not surprising now that mountain is so empty.
Yeah, it's not quite last item. Ether behind it by way of that powder. But if Ice Rod is here in Swamp or anywhere other than Turtle Rock, it was second to last item.
Yeah, you're right. The powder is up there too. That's correct. Both runners decided to do left side Swamp in the beginning.
Yep, and Madcap trying to he got the big key out of the flooded room, tried to turn around, and got messed with by the silly stairs. I think the way around that is if you do a key dash into the door, then you're fine. Or maybe you have to like hold left or something as well while you're going through this transition. It's something really silly.
I just accept that it's always going to turn me around and just, this is what it has to be.
Oh, and chat's confirming it's both of those things. You have to key dash through the door and then hold left.
See, you had it right.
Yeah, but like I said, they're the silly stairs for a reason. Anyways, cape, only value in Swamp. So...
Yeah, so far I cannot imagine that your bro's going back for that lamp. Madcap, potentially, depending what their appreciation for Meyer is.
Yeah, honestly, going back for the lamp at this point would be more for the Ganon fight than anything. Especially still being on Master Sword this far in.
Madcap using spin strats to slowly pull the pups and take down Argus as Ninjimbro approaches their Argus fight.
Yeah, these spin strats against the puffs, if you're only pulling one at a time, is a little bit slow, but it's rather safe and rather reasonable. You can do double pulls, but it's pretty difficult if you haven't practiced yet, because it's really, really easy to just accidentally poke the puff and then drop your spin and do no damage at all. We do have both runners in the Argus fight here. Madcap finishing it up for the Ice Rod. Ninjimbro not quite out of phase one. That is the worst possible pull for Madcap there, because Ninjimbro is going to be in go mode as soon as he finishes this fight. And Madcap skipped the graveyard ledge that had the mushroom, which Ninjimbro did a fake powder to get his ether. So Madcap's options are either go to the graveyard ledge and then follow that up with fake powder like Ninjimbro did, or take a trip up the mountain for a fetch quest that he doesn't know is required to get his medallion.
Yeah, Madcap's back against the wall a little bit right now. Ninjimbro ready to go up the mountain and finish off TR.
And with Ninjimbro having such a strong advantage at this point, I will remind everybody, you can see part of this on the screen at least, but this is Blue Balls United, Madcap representing them, up 2-0 in the best of 5 against Ninjimbro and Bottles on Empty. Assuming Ninjimbro takes his go mode and runs away with the race while Metcalf's still hunting for his ether. Game 4 of this series will be at 6:10 p.m. Eastern. That's about an hour and a half from now. It will be Ninjembro playing against Keide Rukawa of Blue Balls United in Swordless. So again, that will be not very long after this race concludes.
Yeah, and how the first hour of this scene went, Ninjembro had good practice, because we didn't find a sword until the dark maze of Pod about almost an hour in, so...
Right. Swordless can be a very nasty mode, but regular modes just not giving you swords for an hour can be just as bad.
Alright, Metcalf remembering that sword on the island, grabbing it now as Ninjembro hits Turtle Rock for their 7th crystal.
And I wonder, I guess Metcalf's, is he going straight for the green pendant turn in here? Or no? There's a whirlpool over here, but I don't know where it
lamp.
leads.
They're gonna go grab the lamp.
Oh, right, it leads to the same spot. Duh. No, it leads up here. I'm silly.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I was thinking of the other one.
That is where that, well, roughly where that goes in the light world. But I think he's still going for the lamp. Actually,
no.
This is quite good for Metcalf because this means he can route in Graveyard Ledge along with this. Now the only question is, will he fake powder before he turns it in? If he does, he's still behind by a significant amount, having not yet touched Misery Mire, with Ninjembro already being in his last dungeon. But he'll at least have his go mode secured.
Yeah, and not just that though, we know from when Ninjembro did Mire, it was a God Mire. So the big key was very early. So yeah, Metcalf going to fake powder this would be ideal.
Looks like it's going to be a green pendant turn in. Even I was expecting him to follow up with the lamp grab here, but no. This was just actually quite good routing to not forget about Graveyard Ledge on his part. But I guess he's not interested in that lamp, doesn't need it.
I'm not wrong, right? The light world, that whirlpool does go back to where the bumper ledge is, right?
Yeah. Oh, and there's sword advantage for Metcalf too on Sahasrara. That makes the lamp even less necessary because it means he's not doing Master Sword Silverless Ganon. And with the Fire Rod out here, this is where he's going for the fake powder. So, Metcalf's only problem right now is he's got to get through Mire and Turtle Rock while Ninjembro's halfway through Turtle Rock already.
Right, yeah.
But other than that, sorry, go on.
Nope, my fault.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Metcalf's routing since clearing Swamp Palace has been rather on point for what he needed to do. It's just he got there a bit later than Ninjembro did.
Ninjembro pulling the Swagnet out of the Crystal Roll room before going down to the TR Dark Maze.
That's an item I'm sure he'd rather have 2 hours from now than right now.
Right? You don't like Hammer Aga? Come on.
I mean, we meme on the Bugnet for Aghanim all the time, but it actually is a significant improvement over the Hammer for Swordless. But that's something that other people will be telling you guys about later, presumably. Because this is significant advantage to Ninjembro here. Which honestly excites me because it means more rando. The chat asking for which sword Ninjembro doesn't have. Ninjembro did not turn in the green pendant for Sahasrara. And that was the tempered sword that Metcalf has.
Oh, and Ninjembro gets 4%ed. And not getting a key off Laser Bridge will have to go back.
though. That hurts. I didn't even notice that he skipped the big chest, but yes, he did. I wasn't counting his keys or paying attention to his checks. I was looking at what Metcalf was doing. But yeah, Ninjembro skipped the big chest and the lava chest, basically on a gamble that one of those chests was not a small key. Except now it turns out both of those chests did have small keys, which means only 2 small keys available in the rest of the dungeon, which means he is a key short, trying to reach the boss. So he's got to backtrack all the way to the big chest, and then do the back of the dungeon again to get back to Trinex. And yeah, 4% is roughly the rate for that. I don't know exactly the percent, but it's about 4.
So this will give a little bit more time back to Metcalf. Still pretty large advantage for Ninjembro, but this is still time.
Yep. It's just, if Metcalf keeps playing clean, he can try closing the gap a little bit here. We'll see how it goes. Especially, like you said, Godmire here. Ninjembro skipped the cutscene chest, which saves like a minute. Maybe closer to like 40 seconds. The cutscene itself is about 20, I think. But regardless, Metcalf saving a significant chunk of time in Mire. Just has to make up the fact that he's an entire Turtle Rock behind and not make that same gamble that Ninjembro made and lost. Ninjembro back to the very last area of Turtle Rock here. Just gotta ride this long little rail. And here's Trinex. With only the Master Sword in hand, he's going for the hammer here.
One head down. The hammer's hitbox is super small, so it can make this fight a little daunting, but doing tempered sword damage makes it a little faster. So if you're experienced with it and trust your hitbox, this is a much faster way to go over Master Sword, and gets 2 down. Excellent.
Yeah, the advantage to doing Firehead in particular with the hammer is that it really reduces, maybe even eliminates the risk of ice getting on the floor from the ice head if you do it quickly and properly. Same as doing, I mean, it's the same concept as doing Firehead first in general, but Master Sword's just not fast enough, doesn't do enough damage for it. And here we go. If Ninjembro can't pick up a Tempered Sword somewhere in Ganon's Tower, Metcalf is going to have sword advantage. So maybe that plus Ganon's Tower routing could potentially bring the race pretty close. Tempered Sword, a huge time save over Master Sword for Silverless Ganon. So even though Ninjembro's had a big advantage in this race for a little while now, not over yet, even though he's entering GT. Metcalf not even quite on the mountain yet, still needs to go through this flute transition.
Alright, here we go. Into GT about 137.35. Going right side for Hope Room first.
Yep, this is the standard Ganon's Tower opening. Ninjembro refused the baby shield from Zoro way back at the start of the race, but found 2. Metcalf accepted that baby shield from Zoro. He's already on the fire shield, so he's going to pull a green 20 out of that chest. But the critical point, no keys, so starting Hope Room means no option to go right. Now, if Metcalf goes to this Stalfos room first, gets all these keys, he could go right, and if the big key is there, that would be a significant time save over Ninjembro is going to go all the way down to Ice Armos, looking for the big key before going back. And then also pay attention once MatCat gets a little further into Turtle Rock here, whether he detours for that big chest or not.
Jimbro, excellent movements through the first part of Cannon's Tower basement. Just effective, good muscle memory, and just pushing through all these checks as Metcap hits their torch room chests.
Yep, got a big key, got a small key. The second small key going to be in Chain Chomps. And then, okay, so big key for Ninjembro there. Means that his route was basically the optimal one to get it. Bad news if you want to see MatCap come back here.
Yeah, and good job resisting the Dark Magician taunt. There was a lot of keys in that Stalfos room that may have, wanted to pull some runners right, but continued left and made the right call.
Yeah, it seems pretty rare to me to see runners go Hope Room and then Stalfos and then back to Compass Room. Like, if you're gonna go Dark Magician style routing with the Compass Room early, you generally go straight Stalfos and then back over. But the temptation can be there when there's a ton of keys sometimes.
So the Jimbro getting ready to start their gauntlet. I would expect we'll check the top 4 chests, hoping for another sword.
Yeah, the expected value of checking those chests at this point, when you still want a sword, is quite positive. Especially with the fact that we've cleared out all 10 dungeons. And a good, about half of the Ganon's Tower basement. Actually, a bit more than half. I think chat was saying the big chest was in the 13th check out of 21. Unfortunately, Demo shooting him out of his dash wind up there means Ninjembro can't go through straight through. And Stalfos not playing the nicest with that Fire Rod, but gonna grab that magic refill, doing pretty solid on hearts. 9 out of 13. And then Fire Rod here, gonna just burn some Land Molas, and then on to Wizrobes.
And on the other side, Metcap made the same decision as Ninjembro, skipping those 2 chests, hoping to find a key on Laser Bridge. Is going to be really disappointed.
Yep, so he's going to have to do the same backtrack that Ninjembro did. No opportunity to save time there. Here's torches. We've seen this room a few times before. I think most of us have. Anybody who's watched Link to the Past Vanilla or Randomized. Actually, that's one of the nicer things about Ganon's Tower. There are very few divergences in this dungeon from what you do in the vanilla game, especially when you get upstairs. It's just you show off how good you are at the game itself, not at routing it.
Right, I've said it before when commenting, and I will keep preaching this. If you are looking for a way to better your overall time, this is where one of the places I would start is GT. It's almost required in almost every mode. You're going to do it. So if you want to polish something over that you're going to have to do over and over again, start here. Start with the climb. There's other things like dark rooms and stuff that are very viable too, but different boss fights in the GT climb are pretty solid places to start.
Yeah, because you're going to have to do pretty much all of those pretty much every seed until you start playing weird modes. I guess you don't have to do all the boss fights, but you got to do at least 7 of them every seed. And yeah, chat's talking about it at 6:10 p.m., which is about an hour from now, an hour and 10 minutes from now. Going to be game 4 of this series. Ninjembro is going to be playing it, and it is going to be swordless. So, unless something catastrophic here happens at least, with Ninjembro being on Aga 2 and Matcap just now getting the small key he needs to reach Trinex. Oh, that was real nice from Ninjembro.
Nice double.
Last hit. Yeah.
That was a strong Aga 2.
Yeah, you don't really get much better than that with stuff like that. You can get a 2-cycle Aga 2, but RNG will very often just say no to that. And here we go. Master Sword Ganon for Ninjembro. Not going to get the Triton spin there, so that's one less hit he's got. And as far as I recall, he's got a couple potions, but no fairies in his pocket. Did take that hit at the very start, but has been solid since. And on to phase 2.
Yeah, Ninjembro just taking their time, making sure to get all the hits in that they can. You know, you feel behind, but falling or dying to gain will make it feel far worse. As Metcalf using the Tempered Sword to smash the Trinex heads.
Tempered Sword does the same damage as the hammer that Ninjembro used in this fight, but much, much easier to use. Better hitbox. And you can do spin attacks like we saw there. Unfortunately, did not get the phase 2 quick kill. That is Trinex down for Matcap, as Ninjembro enters phase 3 Ganon. I'm just going to pop the potion, not going to let anything interfere with this.
Alright, with phase 3 down, hoping to hit the torch glitch.
Needed 2 shots there, but gets it. Has a potion in reserve. Just needs 24 total spins, so 21 more. Timing his fire rod shots here so that he can try to get 3 per lamp phase, which he's doing here. He did on the first one. Disposition not really conducive to it, so he's only going to get 2. But still going to be progressing the fight all the same. Meanwhile, it looks like Matcap going left side first in Ganon's tower. Going to do the so-called Dark Magician style routing we were discussing earlier, where he's going to go to the Solphos room, go to the Compass room, and Big Key in the Randomizer room is the worst possible location for that strat.
Yeah, with the large amount of keys in the Stalfos room, I would be surprised if he doesn't bamf over to the right. But, I mean, could do full left.
Nah, you hardly ever see full left. You always see Hope Room before that, but I guess it's not impossible somebody would do it. But regardless, unfortunate for Matcap, he has no way of knowing, of course, that Big Key is in the Randomizer room. While Ninjembro just continuing to get his spins in here. I lost count of where he was at a while ago, but based on his magic meter, he probably only needs, I think...
There you go.
Okay, there it is. I was thinking one more cycle, but...
I thought it was one more too. I lost count as well. Get your GGs in chat, and then Jimbro gonna cross the bridge.
Yep, and that is Ninjembro across the bridge at the time of 1:48.36, and Matt Cap forfeiting the race right there. So that will conclude the race. We'll see if Ninjembro is going to join us or if he's going to skip out in favor of just mentally resetting and getting ready for his next game in just over an hour. Okay, we do have Ninjembro with us, so GG, congratulations, staying alive.
Hey, thanks and GG's. That was an interesting one.
Yeah, like pretty front-loaded on the progression. Then we kind of just got to the Dark World and it all dried up. But then we do have, we do have Matt Cap with us in here as well. So GG's to you as well.
Yeah, GG's to Ninjembro for sure.
Hey, GG, Madcap.
Obviously, that was quite unfortunate. I have never ever had my PC crash. I just bought a new PC because my old PC was doing weird stuff. But it never crashed during a race. I don't know, Windows 11 or something, I guess. I don't know. That's quite unfortunate, for sure. Probably that's what made me, like, I don't know, that and such a late pod with all the progression. I felt like probably Ninjembro went to pod before, and even if he didn't, he probably went before me, because even though I didn't like die or just stay put for a minute, unfortunately I play in hardware, so because if not I would have just like lost everything, obviously. But I don't know, that felt really terrible. That's as soon as I got the mirror, I just went into swamp. The ice rod kept the dream alive a bit, I guess, but honestly I feel like even if Ninjembro had gone to TR, I don't know.
Yeah, I can say both of you pretty hard last location pod. And I don't think either of you had anything left when you got over there finally. So
yeah, I personally was not thrilled to be going into the dark maze without a sword.
Yeah, everything.
But and then of course there's a sword in there. Looking back on the seed, it's like what the seed wanted you to do logically was absolutely hilarious.
yeah, like lamp-locked flute behind a cape in left side swamp is just what?
Right. Like I got that flute like obviously very early, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Like we're going to find our lamp pretty early, I think, most likely. And then I saw that lamp on the ledge, and I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe not. And then when I was like, so the cape is out there somewhere, and as I kept getting like closer and closer to last location, I'm just like, what is going on here? Like, what is this seed doing? And then like it was, fire rod over to going back into Skullwoods to get the big key, to get the mirror, to go get the cape, to get the lamp. It was just a mess of a seed logically. Like obviously sequence breaking makes that seed not nearly as bad, but it had a lot of nasty locations for items that like as the seed progressed, like I started to feel worse and worse and worse.
I had absolutely forgotten about where the flute was. Yeah. Changes everything, I guess. Like, yeah, I guess if you just followed the logic, the seed would have been much better, I guess. Yeah, for sure. I mean, because there wasn't anything in the mountain, right? Absolutely anything.
Yeah, I mean, the powder was on the floating island, but you both got around that with fake powder.
Yeah, when I did that fake powder, like, that was one of the first times in the seed where I was just like, okay, like, we're maybe back in this a little bit. And then after the ice rod on Argus, I felt pretty good, only because like at that point I was like, I'm pretty sure most people end up finding this ice rod around the same time I do. And if they don't, like, it's probably not their go mode item. So I kind of played with that kind of mindset and was like, I started to feel pretty good at that point. When I didn't find a tempered sword anywhere, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, that's what this game is going to do to us today. Cool.
Yeah, I can say that your mindset there did turn out to be accurate in this case. Madcap actually found that ice rod while you were about a third of the way through Phase 1 Argus. But it wasn't his go mode item, which you guys, I think, discussed in the race time room a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and how about Turtle Rock being a 3%, huh?
Yeah, that also happened to you. Yeah, I realized after, like, since I got the ice rod, I thought probably it's like a good option to just do the big test in case, because your opponent probably like went and full kill Turtle Rock. I don't know, like I'm never gonna regret that, obviously, but yeah, 3% is amazing.
Yeah, like with it only being like roughly a 3% chance, like I'm never not going to make that play, but whenever it happens in a race where like you feel like it's very close, you're just like waiting for the dot done. It's like, really, you're going to do this to me, game?
Yeah, because it's going to won you the seed.
Right.
Support early won you the seed for sure. Like these.
Yeah, and like I actually thought about it because I was like, well, I have everything to clear pod, but like I really hate doing the Dark Turtles without at least Fire Rod. So I kind of just avoided it until I either found Lamp or Fire Rod. So we all know how that kind of turned out.
Yeah, I really thought like about the bottle on Desert Ledge. I kept thinking like, man, if I had gotten that bottle, like I would go to pod much better. I don't know. I was terrible.
Something I wanted to ask is, both of you chose to do Swamp, looking for items. Was there any inclination to just try and hope that Ice Rod was in TR, rather than going to Swamp, or was it always just, I'm going to do Swamp no matter what?
So for me, at that point in the seed, I'm seeing it as like a 50-50. Like it's most like it's not exactly 50-50 because there's still other places, and I would have checked a little bit of Overworld after Swamp before going to TR. But for me, it was basically 50-50 between Swamp and TR being where it was likely to be, just because in Map Compass Shuffle, like they're both just very item-dense dungeons. So at that point, I'm just basically picking Swamp because one, it also opens Pedestal, which I never bothered reading. I was just like, I'm going to blind pool Ped if it comes down to it. But also because I never checked the Lumberjack, I was kind of routing that in with my like Swamp decision at the same time. So like while Swamp on paper is 8 items, I was basically treating Swamp in my head as like, I had 2 other Overworld checks plus Pedestal and Lumberjack. So I was basically treating it as like 12 item locations in my head, which really made it like the decision that I wanted to make there. But at the same time, I'm going in there and thinking, you know, if Madcap goes Turtle Rock and the Ice Rod is there, like I lose this race. And I mean, when you're on an Ice Rod hunt, that's, you know, really how these seats can go sometimes.
Yeah, I went because of the crash, 100%. Like because of the crash and such a late pod, I was like, I've lost this, 100%. I don't know how much late I did pod after Ninjambro, but I felt like ages behind at that point. And it was just like, okay, let's just gamble on ice and something being here. I was honestly hoping like for an earlier Ice Rod. Like if I found Ether, I was going to bail out immediately, 100%. I do think like if stuff would have gone better and no crash, I 100% would have gone to Turtle Rock. So that at least makes it a little better, I think. Because I probably would have lost otherwise. I mean, I think that would still be my last location, for sure.
I think that's reasonable. I do think it's unfortunate that the crash kind of seemed to have warped your game a little bit, but I do appreciate that you were able to keep playing through it at least.
Yeah, I don't think I lost like more than 1 and 2 minutes. I don't know, I left the bomb and some dumb stuff, and I didn't go into the bomb shop as well because I was like setting up the timer and everything, which was really unfortunate. But in the end, it was just like gambling on ice, and it was just like, okay, like if it's a crystal, I'm going, and at the moment, like if it's a pendant, I think I'm going even more because I just wanted to gamble something at that point because I felt very behind. So yeah.
Neither of you actually did the bomb shop, so we didn't actually know ice was a crystal until that point.
Yeah, after I did, I figured with the bomb shop, I was like, I already kind of know so many crystals. I'm just going to start doing them and like going towards them. And also at that point, like it was one of those early points in the seed where just because like I basically last locationed my Dark World access, I was like, well, I'm already feeling a little behind. So I'm just going to skip that because there's so much I can do. I'll probably find maps. I can't remember if I already knew at that point that Desert was a 5-6 or not, but I got that info pretty soon after. And then after Ice, on my way to going to Desert, I was like, oh, I should probably check to see if I have a red crystal. And I did, and I was like, oh, great, this opens up Pyramid Fairy, which was absolutely nothing, just like basically every check in the seed.
Yeah, that sounds all accurate based on what I remember as well. I don't recall the exacts of when you found that information, but so it was. I think we knew relatively early on that we knew everything except Desert, Hera, Swamp and Ice. Or no, it's just Desert, Swamp and Ice, I think. And then Desert got pulled, and then it was just the Swamp Ice 50-50. Anyways, Ninjembro, you've got a race in less than an hour at this point. I don't want to drag this on too long. Not give you a chance to reset and prepare if you want to take it. So.
Yep. Dinner is soon, so I'm about to go eat some dinner, kind of refresh, drink some water, and get ready for Swordless. Kind of reset my rando brain for the next 45 minutes.
It was a great practice.
Yeah. But GG's again, Madcap, and thanks to the Restream team for all that you do, and see everybody again on, I think it's right here on SpeedGaming, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay, let me double check. Yes, it is.
Cool. So, see everybody again in 45 minutes.
Yeah. GG's tomorrow's Sonanti. Fortunately, yesterday was I don't know, insanely good rando day. So we still have a fighting chance. Really strong team. Really didn't want to be against them like since week 1, but well, yeah, and yeah. Thanks to everyone involved, and yeah, good luck to Kaede, and hopefully we don't have to play Retrans again, but it will be fun if we do have to, for sure. And thank you to everyone involved. Bye.
Yeah, I want to give big shout out to the tracker Mindful Beast here, managing the tracker for us, letting everybody see the state of the race, and making it easy for us to talk. But ultimately, I think that will pretty much wrap it up for us. The only race remaining on the schedule for today is the Ninjembro vs. Kaede at 6:10 p.m. That's in about 50 minutes, 55 minutes, if you're watching this live. It's going to be on this same SpeedGaming channel. So, yeah, check it out, and I will leave the floor to Talon for any last words.
Yep, I want to echo your thoughts. Mindful Beast, thank you so much for tracking for us. For our runners, thank you very much for putting on a great show. Be sure to follow them. For my co-con Reg, thank you very much for coming with me, and for everyone else, stick around. We'll see you all in a little bit for another great race. Thanks, everyone.
Yep. We'll see y'all next race.